On a barren desert, a blonde girl is being choked and restrained by a man. Another man arrives, throws her over his shoulder, and takes her to a secluded spot. After handcuffing her, he pulls out a knife and starts cutting her clothes into pieces. At the same time, a police car speeds down the road. Who diverted the creep's attention from the blonde girl? And how did she end up in the hands of these thugs? Her name is Emma, a beautiful teacher living a happy and carefree life. Her father, Jacques, is an outstanding former Special Forces operative, undefeated on every battlefield. To protect his daughter from accidents and trouble, he taught Emma self-defense and combat skills from a young age. However, with her kind-hearted and gentle nature, Emma has never used those skills to bully others. Yet, a sweet and kind girl like Emma gets dumped by her boyfriend. Heartbroken, she decides to escape to a faraway place. They say you can win on the racetrack but lose in love, but Emma failed at both. While trying to run away, her car unexpectedly breaks down. No matter how hard she tries, she can't budge. Meanwhile, a cop stands on the highway in the desert, blocking a truck. Seeing the driver's expression, he senses something is off, as if they don't have the right papers. Before he can act, 3 men suddenly jump out of the vehicle and approach the cop, one of them brandishing a gun. Confident as he may be, the cop doesn't dare take the risk with such a crowd. As a result, he gets knocked out and stuffed into the trunk. After taking down the cop, the thieves hop in the vehicle and head to a secluded area. They pull him out to execute him on the spot. Unbeknownst to them, Emma, who's dealing with car troubles, witnesses the scene. Startled, she drops her glass water bottle, and the sound of shattering draws the attention of the thieves. Seeing Emma as a witness, the 6-man crew decides to eliminate her. Emma is captured by the thieves, terrified and too scared to fight back. Even when they pull out a knife, she only shows fear without any intention to resist. However, the thieves don't plan to silence her immediately. After all, they're thieves, and it's normal to prioritize robbing before killing. At this moment, the cop woke up. Noticing the robbers focused on Emma, he quietly made his way to the car. One of the 6 robbers forced Emma to a nearby spot, planning to take their turns with her before killing her. Everyone should get a taste before they take her life. As soon as the robber cut Emma's shirt in half, the police car suddenly started and sped away. Unable to focus on their assault any longer, the group decided they had to take out the cop first before continuing. However, the officer's driving skills were top-notch, so even though they chased after him, they were always just trailing behind. So, they had to come up with a different plan: sniping. One of the 6 robbers pulled out a sniper rifle and aimed at the police car. Even though the car was already 100 meters away, his sniping skills were exceptional. He aimed at the spot where the police car was headed and waited for the perfect moment to pull the trigger. Sure enough, the officer inside the car was shot dead on the spot. Emma was handcuffed over here, and right now, the skills her dad taught her were the key to her survival. She struggled to find a way to escape the cuffs. Emma tried to use her legs to pull the police officer's bag closer and finally managed to retrieve the handcuff key that the robber had accidentally dropped earlier. After freeing herself from the handcuffs, Emma grabbed the knife that the robber had dropped and immediately took off. She knew the robbers wouldn't let her go easily. So, Emma decided to return to the car to grab the backpack from the trunk. It seemed that the backpack contained essential items for the upcoming fight. As expected, when the robber returned and found Emma missing, he went into a rage. They decided to split into 6 groups to begin the hunt. Emma was hiding behind a large rock. Although still scared, she started organizing the necessary items. Once she finished, she discarded the backpack and continued running from the pursuit. At that moment, the robbers chased after the spot where Emma had just discarded her backpack. Seeing the backpack, they guessed that Emma hadn't gotten far, so all 6 of them continued their search. Emma's survival instinct was awakened. She contemplated the footprints she had left on the ground. If she continued, the robbers would follow her trail. Emma decided to take a detour to throw them off her scent. In the desert at noon, the dry and hot weather was exhausting Emma as she became increasingly dehydrated. To survive, the first thing she needed to do was find water. Otherwise, before the robbers could reach her, she would die from dehydration. The robbers arrived at the spot where Emma had left her footprints to mislead them and had to split up to search. Meanwhile, Emma finally found a water tank. However, she didn't rush to drink. Instead, she took a water bottle from her bag, filled it with cleaning powder before getting some water to drink. At the same time, Jacques, Emma's father, was worried about losing contact with his daughter, so he drove out to search for her. He quickly spotted Emma's car parked by the roadside. After inspecting the scene, he realized that his daughter might have gotten into trouble but remained calm because he trusted what he had taught her. He believed that an ordinary person wouldn't be able to harm her. While Emma was drinking water, one of the robbers suddenly pointed a gun at her. However, she remained calm. The robber approached and slapped her hard, inadvertently awakening the demon inside Emma. Unaware of this change, he continued to yell loudly to intimidate her and even planned to take advantage of her. Emma suddenly pulled out the knife from behind her and stabbed him straight in the gut. She didn't stop at one stab but kept thrusting it in repeatedly. With a furious glare, Emma recalled her father's words, "Some people are worse than rabid dogs." With the robber's demise, her resolve awakened. Emma decided she would no longer remain passive but take the initiative to eliminate these predators, helping to rid society of them. Right after that, another robber rushed over. Upon seeing his comrade lying on the ground, he felt nauseous. He couldn't believe that a small girl like Emma could be so ruthless. A sense of unease crept into his heart, and he began to fear for his own fate. However, he was still determined to kill Emma to eliminate any potential threats. Before taking action, he decided to drink some water to regain his strength. Emma decided not to hide anymore. She revealed herself. Grabbing the walkie-talkie from the robber she had just taken down, Emma contacted the group and officially issued a challenge. She declared that she would give them 4 hours to find a way out, or else they shouldn't blame her. Not stopping there, Emma's words were full of defiance, provoking them to come and get her if they dared. After issuing the challenge, Emma continued to search for a strategic spot to plan her attack on the robbers. Her taunt had enraged them, driving them to hunt her down relentlessly. However, what they didn't anticipate was that this chase would lead them into her trap. One of the robbers, standing unaware, was suddenly struck by a falling rock, collapsing instantly, motionless on the ground. After taking one down, Emma went on the hunt for the remaining 4 to end it all. Just as she was about to move, the robber struck by the rock suddenly woke up and grabbed her ankle. He pinned her down, trying to strangle her while hurling vicious curses. But Emma, driven by sheer survival instinct, reached for the pistol on the ground. A gunshot echoed, and the foul-mouthed robber collapsed instantly. At this moment, Jacques found the body of the first robber. Just as he suspected, these criminals were no match for his daughter. He felt proud of Emma, recalling the principles he had always taught her. If they don't mess with you, leave them be. But if they do, they must pay, whether in cash or blood. This was the lesson he had always drilled into her, and now Emma was proving she had fully embraced it. Jacques calmly got back in his car and headed home. Even though he knew his daughter was in danger, he chose to leave. In his eyes, it was the robbers who were truly in trouble now. Once home, Jacques pulled a chair into the middle of the yard, humming a tune while waiting for his little girl to return victorious. He truly was the most peculiar father, so calm, it was almost unbelievable given the circumstances. Emma was now up against the remaining 4 robbers. Using binoculars to observe them from a distance, she didn't realize her actions had been spotted. One of the robbers grinned dangerously and began pulling out a sniper rifle. Through the binoculars, Emma spotted the danger and quickly ducked down. The sniper kept aiming at her, firing non-stop, while the other robbers joined in, drawing their guns to attack. A relentless shootout erupted. Emma fired back but missed every shot. One of the robbers even mocked her poor shooting skills, taunting her openly. Emma stood up and ran, taking cover in an abandoned house nearby. Meanwhile, one of the 4 robbers collapsed from poisoning after drinking the tainted water in the desert. His eyes darkened, lips turned pale, and cold sweat drenched his shirt before he fainted on the ground. Turns out, the cleaning powder Emma had put in the water earlier wasn't useless after all. Emma spots a sharp piece of iron and gets an idea. So when one of the thugs goes inside, he is caught off guard by her, who uses the piece of iron to kill him. The poisoned thug called out to his friend but got no response, so he dragged himself inside, only to be ambushed by Emma. Although she intended to finish him off, the fear in his eyes stirred her compassion. In the end, she decided not to strike him down and spared his life. Unexpectedly, the robber, ungrateful for being spared, shouted loudly to alert his comrades as soon as he was released. Emma, despite her desire to show mercy, was left with no choice. She stepped forward and swiftly slashed the robber with her knife. There was no reason to spare this scumbag again. Emma cautiously advanced, searching for the last 2 robbers. But just as she stepped forward, one of them suddenly lunged at her, knocking her to the ground. The 2 immediately engaged in a fierce fight for survival. In a critical moment, the robber grabbed a pistol from the ground and pointed it directly at Emma. Forced into a corner, she raised her hands in temporary surrender. She uses a psychological tactic and challenges the criminal, saying that he would be afraid to fight a woman. He drops his gun and says he will teach her how she should behave in the kitchen. They start hand-to-hand combat. With her solid warrior training, Emma quickly gained the upper hand. Despite the robber's attempts to seize an opportunity, he ultimately proved no match for her. Emma grabbed a brick and slammed it straight into his face, ending his life in agony. She comes out of the house and comes face to face with the last of the gang, the sniper. She says now she just has to kill him, and he underestimates her and proposes to play a game, a gun duel. His mistake is that he does not know that she has had military training from her father, a war veteran. Emma, with 2 guns, jumps to the side and shoots him. Elsewhere, we see her father, who is already at home, sitting in a chair, watching the trail, hoping for his daughter's arrival. He gets emotional and cries, perhaps thinking that he will never see her again. Suddenly, his face quickly changes when he sees someone in the distance. Emma managed to survive using his strategy, but still took a shot to the shoulder, fortunately, not fatal. She walks staggering toward her father. They hug, and then we see Emma in the hospital. She has learned a new lesson about violence and defense, and decides to forgive her boyfriend and get back together with him. The movie ends here. Thank you all for watching until the very end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on our exciting recaps. Catch you in the next video.